The Midnight Library Fox. In a quiet corner of the city, there was a library that only opened when the moon was at its highest point in the sky. Its doors, made of dark, polished wood, would swing open without a sound, revealing a warm, glowing light within. This was the Midnight Library, and its keeper was a fox named Renard. Renard wasn't like other librarians. He didn't shush people or stamp books. He simply waited, his tail twitching with anticipation, for the one child who knew the library's secret. Her name was Ilara, and she was the only one brave enough to visit the library after dark. "Good evening, Ilara," Renard would whisper, his voice like rustling leaves. "What story shall we live tonight?" He would lead her to a shelf where the books glowed with a soft, inner light. These weren't just stories to be read. They were worlds to be explored. With a gentle tap of his paw, Renard would open a book, and the pages would swirl into a magical vortex. He and Ilara would leap, hand in paw, into the swirling words, landing in the middle of a new world. Tonight, they found themselves in a whispering forest, where the trees had eyes, and the flowers hummed a quiet tune. But as they walked deeper into the forest, Ilara noticed something was wrong. The vibrant green of the leaves was fading to a pale gray, and the humming of the flowers was becoming a faint, crackling sound. A path of words on the ground began to flicker and disappear. "The story is fading," Renard explained, his ears drooping. "When a story is not read or remembered, it begins to lose its magic. We must find the heart of the story and remind it that it is loved before it vanishes forever." They followed the trail of disappearing words, which led them to a small, trembling light. It was a tiny firefly sitting on a wilting leaf. He was holding a single glowing word in his little hands. It was the last word of the story. "I'm the last of my kind," the firefly whispered, his voice as small as a pinprick of light. "No one remembers my story anymore. I'm afraid I'll disappear too." A single, tiny tear rolled down his face, and the word he held flickered. "Your story is not forgotten," Ilara said, her voice full of warmth. "We remember it. We will tell everyone about the brave little firefly who kept the last word safe." As she spoke, the firefly's light grew brighter, and the colors of the forest began to return, one by one. With the story saved, they returned to the Midnight Library. The book they had entered was now glowing with a brilliant, steady light. Renard smiled, his eyes twinkling. Ilara hugged the book tightly, promising to tell everyone she knew about the brave little firefly and his story, so it would never be forgotten again.